Good morning. My name is Simon Taverner, and it is my honor to serve as Executive Associate Dean of the College of Natural Sciences. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the college, I would like to welcome you to our Spring 2022 commencement ceremony. Please stand if you are able as the Air Force ROTC Wing Walker Honor Guard presents the colors, and join our student musicians from the School of Music, Theatre and Dance in singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I'd like to ask you to please remain standing for the land acknowledgement. Thank you. We would like to begin our ceremony this morning with an acknowledgement of the origins of the land upon which our university was built. Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU was founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and significantly that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. Please be seated. I now wish to introduce to you the members of the Platform Party and recognize them for the roles they play in making CSU a great university. I will ask each person to rise and remain standing throughout the introduction. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. In the back row, our department chairs and university distinguished professors and teaching scholars. Dr. Laurie Stargill, Chair of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Dr. Debbie Garrity, Chair of Biology. Dr. Matthew Shores, Chair of Chemistry. Dr. Craig Partridge, Chair of Computer Science. Dr. Kenneth McLaughlin, Chair of Mathematics. Dr. Jacob Roberts, Chair of Physics. Dr. Don Rojas, Chair of Psychology. Dr. Haonan Wang, Chair of Statistics. Dr. Eugene Chen, Department of Chemistry, University Distinguished Professor. Dr. Nancy Levenger, Department of Chemistry, University Distinguished Teaching Scholar. Dr. A.R. Ravichandran Kara, Department of Chemistry, University Distinguished Professor. Dr. Debbie Kranz, Department of Chemistry, University Distinguished Professor. Dr. Meena Balgopal, University Distinguished Teaching Scholar. And in the front row, Dr. Laura Jensen, Vice Provost for Planning and Effectiveness. Ms. Yolanda Beeville, Vice President for University Marketing and Communications. President Joyce Mcconnell. Dr. Jennifer Mueller, Professor of Mathematics and our commencement speaker. Dr. Janice Nerger, Dean of the College of Natural Sciences. Dr. Lisa Disleski, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs and our alumni speaker. Dr. Don Michaels, Director of the University Honors Program. Major Ryan Rayleigh, Army ROTC. Major Jason Blantine, Air Force ROTC. Let us recognize these extraordinary leaders. Thank you. Our college is committed to providing the highest quality education for our undergraduate and graduate students. The strength of the college and its programs is due to the commitment and dedication of our faculty. I have the honor of serving with a wonderful group of dedicated scholars, teachers, and mentors, and I know firsthand the great satisfaction and pride they feel in the accomplishments of today's graduates. Will our faculty members attending today please rise or raise your hand so that we may recognize and thank you for your talents and dedication. Please be seated, thank you. And now I am pleased to introduce to you Professor Jan Nerger, Dean of the College of Natural Sciences.
Thank you, Simon. It's my pleasure, my great pleasure, to welcome our graduates and all of you who have assembled here this afternoon. It has been a couple years since we've been able to gather like this, and we've been talking about the energy in the room and how wonderful it is that we're all able to share this moment. Class of 2022, you have long anticipated this day, some with eagerness, some with anxiety, some with a complicated mix of emotions, but whatever you are feeling here this afternoon, you deserve to hold a keen sense of pride. Your academic journey was not what you or anyone else could have predicted. The past couple of years were extraordinarily challenging, yet you succeeded. You demonstrated perseverance, resilience, drive, and focus. You earned the seat you are sitting in this morning, and we are all here to congratulate you and applaud your accomplishments. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce to you our commencement speaker, Dr. Jennifer Mueller. Dr. Mueller is a professor in our mathematics department. She holds a joint appointment in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering and is a core faculty member in the School of Biomedical Engineering. She earned her PhD from the University of Nebraska, served as a National Science Foundation Mathematical Sciences postdoctoral fellow and research fellow at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, and she joined our faculty here in 2000. Her research spans from theoretical mathematics in partial differential equations to signal processing, and also hands-on electrical engineering, in which she invents and improves on medical imaging devices. She specializes in non-invasive real-time pulmonary imaging technology. And in response to the pandemic, Dr. Mueller pivoted, a word that we all use too much, and that's the last time I'm ever going to say it, pivoted her research to utilize her imaging technology to image the lungs of COVID patients, which resulted in patients receiving more timely and targeted care and thereby increasing their chances of recovery. Dr. Mueller is internationally recognized for her pioneering research in this area. She's also an extraordinary teacher and mentor, and she was recognized by our college as a professor laureate, which is the highest honor the college bestows on our faculty. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Dr. Jennifer Mueller.
Thank you, Dean Nurture, for that wonderful introduction. The title of my commencement speech is Beautiful Noise, but I'm going to start with uncertainty quantification. It's a field of mathematics, but sitting here at graduation, you're probably keenly aware of how uncertain the future really is. And what about the pandemic? What does uncertainty quantification say about that? Well, a study that appeared in the National Academy of Sciences said that there's a 2% chance of a pandemic with similar impact as COVID-19 happening in any year. This means that someone born in 2000 would have a 38% chance of experiencing one by now. Well, we didn't beat the odds. What really confounds predictions and good models is noise. In your courses in the College of Natural Sciences, you've surely learned about noise and maybe dealt with noise in the data. In psychology, survey data has noise. Physical measurements constitute noise. Telescopic data, voltage measurements, COVID case counts all have noise. Noise is inevitable and ever-present in data. It often comes from human factors. But it's the human factors that I urge you never to neglect. Do you know the song Beautiful Noise by Neil Diamond? It's the title song on a wonderfully diverse album with elements of gospel, rock, R&B, ballads, and even ragtime jazz. I grew up listening to my dad's Neil Diamond records, and I know all the words. So in Beautiful Noise, he sings, "It's a beautiful noise made of joy and of strife. Like the symphony played by the passing parade, it's the music of life." This is where I will give you some advice. It's my prerogative standing up here to give you advice, and I think you probably want at least a little nugget of advice from a commencement address. So this is the take-home message. Take time to listen to the music of life, the noise. In science, the noise may be louder than the quantity you're interested in, or much smaller. It may contain useful information about your device. In the music of life, this is also the case. It may be an interruption from a friend or a relative when you're studying. It may be the wind rustling the trees outside your window. It may be your dog or cat trying to get your attention to get you to play. Take time to listen. Time is fleeting. You may regret not listening later, but you won't regret taking time to listen. The music of life will teach you something. Really listen to your friend, parent, grandparent, or pet. They are all part of the music of life. There is so much vying for our attention. The internet and social media are not really part of the music. They're tools, and they have their place for sure. They're tantalizing, useful, and devious. But music is coming up from the street or right next to you, wanting to talk in person. In person, what glorious words. We're back in person. You've gone to college during a pandemic, and you're graduating. We are so proud of you. Yes, your professors are really proud of you. We feel so proud that you have achieved this in the face of such adversity. Certainly, a graduation speech to this class cannot ignore all of the unexpected challenges that have come your way the past 2 years. So think back for a moment. When you started college, you didn't expect a pandemic and a lockdown and all of your classes to be on Zoom. But you did it. You adapted, you pivoted, and you hunkered down. It was a tough time. For me, there were silver linings, extra time with my family. My oldest daughter home from college to finish the semester, my middle daughter finishing her senior year of high school at home on Zoom with no concerts that she had so looked forward to, and my son finishing middle school from home. But we were all together, and we got a puppy, and she continues to bring all of us joy. And I hope you all had some silver linings. Surely, you have some stories that you will pass along, like when your professor taught on Zoom in her pajamas, and her cat coughed up a hairball in the background, while her 2-year-old streaked by chasing her brother. But that time is behind us, and you have proved that you have a remarkable amount of perseverance, dedication, and drive. You have learned things about your own character that will take you through tough times to come. I would like to recite a poem, also known as a grook, by the Dutch poet, inventor, and scientist Piet Hein, with the cryptic title, TTT. Put up in a place where it's easy to see the cryptic admonishment, TTT. When you feel how depressingly slowly you climb, it's well to remember that things take time. You have accomplished much, and it took time. As you go forward, listen to the music of life as time passes. From your hard work, you now appreciate the word expertise. Without experts in society, each person must learn everything for her or himself. It's natural to have experts in any group of people. Our first experts are our parents. Now you have attained expertise. It means you have really studied something, and people will look to you for your knowledge. It also means that you recognize there are limitations to your knowledge. With this knowledge and the life you lead, you will continue to contribute to the music of life. The last line of Beautiful Noise is, "What a beautiful noise coming into my room, and it's begging for me just to give it a tune." Make your tune contribute to the beauty, the good, the right, the thoughtful, and the compassionate. We are proud of you. Go Rams.
Thank you, Jennifer. Such a beautiful and pertinent message. Thank you. I'm now truly honored to introduce you to the 15th President of Colorado State University, President Joyce Mcconnell. President Mcconnell has been our president since 2019. She's a courageous leader, and we all owe her a debt of gratitude for her leadership throughout the pandemic and her tireless efforts on behalf of our students and employees. President Mcconnell, it will be our honor to have you say a few words to our students.
Good morning. Well, it's actually afternoon, isn't it now? Just 2 minutes after. It's wonderful to see all of you here, and I love you too, whoever screamed that out. That's why I come to work every day. First, I want to recognize and commend Dean Jan Nerger, her team, and the faculty and staff of the College of Natural Sciences here at Colorado State University. You have been teachers, mentors, counselors, allies, and friends to those whose academic journeys culminate here today. I'm delighted to be here to celebrate all of you, today's graduates, tomorrow's leaders, along with your friends and families. And when I have the privilege to look out at all of you, I see brilliant minds and beautiful hearts. I know how meaningful it is for you to have the people you care about here and who care about you on hand to help mark the important day. We're here to honor your hard work and celebrate your academic accomplishments. And we're here to share the excitement about the bright futures you've charted for yourselves while at Colorado State University. Earning a degree has always required dedication and effort, but these past few years presented all of us with challenges none of us expected. But you rose to the occasion. Yes, they did. Your ability to navigate uncertainty and meet those challenges has distinguished you and will continue to do so as you move forward in our increasingly connected and rapidly changing world. Though that phrase used to seem trite until we faced a global pandemic and understood how truly connected and fast everything was. When new challenges inevitably arise, you will be able to draw on your experiences and what they have taught you. Your studies have prepared you for many professional careers in the world of business, probably including some that haven't even been invented yet. So I have a charge for you today. It is your time to lead. The academic accomplishments we celebrate are an important milestone on your pathway to success. You've reached it by demonstrating courage, conviction, commitment, kindness, compassion, curiosity, and so many other characteristics that will support you towards success the rest of your lives. But learning isn't for the faint of heart. It's an important and intricate process and opens up whole new worlds and transforms lives, and not just your lives, but the lives of generations that your life will touch. From here, your vision, your energy, and your resilient spirit will carry you forward. That spirit, one of hope and optimism, has endured at Colorado State University for generations, growing ever stronger, particularly in the face of adversity. The knowledge, experience, and expertise you have gained over these past few years have prepared you to be a leader of your journey on your journey. While you go on your journey, always remember there are others who can use your hand, your help, your encouragement. Please be generous with your spirit. Our world needs leaders now more than ever. I'm so proud, so incredibly proud to know that you will be among them, forging a bold, trailblazing path to our shared future. And as you prepare for the next step of your journey, whether that's graduate school, a career, or something else, remember, whatever you do and wherever you are, you always, always will be a valued member of our RAM family, a community that reaches across our nation and around our world, a community of care, brilliance, heart, and kindness. I can't wait to see where those journeys take you. On behalf of the entire CSU community, congratulations.
The academic sector of Colorado State University is composed of 8 colleges and the graduate school. The College of Natural Sciences is composed of 8 departments, and the Bachelor's of Science degree is currently awarded in 12 different majors. This is the part where you really do need to listen. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree please rise? Oh, you did it. You know, sometimes minds kind of wander. I just wanted to make sure. Now stay standing. President Mcconnell, it's my pleasure to present to you these students who have completed all of the requirements established by the various departments, the college, and the university for the Bachelor of Science degree. The Faculty Council has recommended to the Board of Governors of the CSU system that these candidates receive the Bachelor of Sciences degree in their respective disciplines, and the Board of Governors officially voted to confer these degrees. President McConnell.
This is my favorite part. It is my sincere honor to formally declare, on behalf of and with the authority of the Board of Governors of the Colorado State University System, I hereby confer the Bachelor of Science degree on each of you, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Let us all recognize the achievements of this wonderful group of students. You may be seated.
Thank you, President McConnell. And now we have an important tradition in academia known as the Tassel Switch. It symbolizes one's transition from candidate to graduate. Before conferral of your bachelor degree, the tassel is worn to the right side of your mortarboard. Now that your degrees have been officially conferred, I ask you to each please move your tassel to the left. And congratulations. It's the little things. In a few moments, our spring 2022 graduates will receive their diploma covers. At that time, we will also recognize those students who, through their academic achievements, have received numerous various academic honors and distinctions. A few words are in order to better appreciate the accomplishments of these students. Students earning the cum laude distinction have distinguished themselves through outstanding academic performance during their time at CSU. Their GPA is in the top 10% of their graduating class. Cum laude is a Latin expression meaning with praise, but in this context, the more appropriate translation is with distinction. Those students graduating summa cum laude, or with highest distinction, are students in the top 1% with a GPA of 3.99 or better. Used to be 9.8. Students designated magna cum laude, or with greatest distinction, make up the next 3% of the class with a GPA above 3.94. And those designated cum laude constitute the next 6% with a GPA above 3.83. Those students wearing golden gowns or with a golden cord over a green honors gown. Those students are wearing, sorry. The University Honors Program offers a challenging and rewarding curriculum for outstanding students, and all honors students must maintain at least a 3.5 cumulative GPA. These students are wearing green gowns and a bachelor's hood, or if in a gold gown, they will be wearing a green cord. Will the summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and honors program graduates please stand or raise your hand so that we may applaud your extraordinary academic accomplishments? Please be seated. Student achievement is also recognized by initiation into various honors societies, all of which require achieving and maintaining a high GPA. Our graduates are members of many honor societies. I ask those students who belong to an honor society to rise or raise your hand so that we can applaud your accomplishments. Please be seated. In addition, we would like to recognize students completing the teaching licensure program. Historically, CSU graduates more science and mathematics teachers than any other college or university in the state. May the students who are licensed as middle and high school science and mathematics teachers please rise or raise your hand so that we can recognize your dedication. Thank you. Please be seated. The Dean's Office wishes to recognize those students who have enriched their education in the sciences by completing a second major outside the College of Natural Sciences. The Academic Enrichment Award was established to honor those students for the breadth of education they have obtained. Each of these students will be mailed a certificate from the Dean. Will the students with a second major outside our college please rise or raise your hands so that we may recognize your achievements? Thank you. Please be seated. Another group the college would like to recognize is our first-generation students. First-generation students are students whose parents have not completed a bachelor's degree. These students are a point of pride for all of us. Will our first-generation graduates and our faculty here in attendance, who themselves are first-generation graduates, please stand or raise your hand so we may applaud your success. Thank you. Please be seated. We would also like to acknowledge the members of the U.S. Armed Services who are receiving their degrees today. Will you please stand or raise your hand? Since 1870, CSU has served those who have served our nation, and we are currently home to 2,000 student veterans, dependents, and active duty military members. Indeed, at this time, I would also like to recognize those audience members who have also served or are serving in our military. With the current Please stand so that we may acknowledge it. Thank you. Please be seated. Shortly, we will begin the diploma distribution. You, our newest graduates, will be introduced by Professor Jacob Roberts and receive your diploma covers. At that time, you will have your picture taken. You will then be congratulated by President Mcconnell, Dean Nerga, and the chair of your major department. Major Ryan Rayleigh and Major Jason Blantine will congratulate our ROTC graduates, and Dr. Don Michaels will congratulate our honors graduates. Faculty from your department will greet you as you proceed off stage. You will have your individual picture taken, pick up your gift from the college, and then return to your seat. And now, on to the most important part of today's celebration. Marshals, please escort our Spring 2022 graduates to the platform.
of the College of Natural Sciences, but first let me make a couple of announcements. Guests attending our ceremony are reminded not to block the view of others by standing or by taking photographs at the railing and to refrain from the use of air horns. Graduates will receive digital images from the professional photographer approximately 3 days after the ceremony. This is your commencement. We invite you to take photographs during the distribution of diplomas, but please do so in an orderly manner. Graduates will proceed across the stage by major, beginning with biochemistry and molecular biology. Honors graduates will lead each department. Graduates, if you are the first person in your major, please hand me your major sign when you reach the microphone. I'll announce each new major and then each graduate's name. And now, it's my great pleasure to present to you the Spring 22 graduates of the College of Natural Science. Graduates achieving a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Jason Matthew Clem. Ashley Verschuren. Madeline May Abel. Catherine Elizabeth Long. Matthew Funk. Brooke Elizabeth Harris. Robert Lee Vickerman. Isabella Rose Mastroianni. Margaret Lauren Yates. Erin Ann Campbell. Gwyneth Shaban Knott. Jana Sigrid de Bruyne. Cameron Sage Gunther. Sage Allen. Catherine Marie Roberts. Parkle Michael Hayes. Jordan Boston. Jordan Hollenbeck. Connor Peck. Kelly Durkin. Richard Gordon Miller. Emily Rose Turner. Catherine Dove Power. Christopher Michael Wells. John Ninehouse. Michaela Maroney. Sarah Ann Hinman. Ava Claire Lyons. Jenna Lynn Kelly. Dylan James Schwindeman. Danielle McKenzie Clark. Samuel Jackson Snyder. Sarah Campbell Davidson. William Andrew Powell. Stavros Trimmer. Jensen Stewart Christensen. Sarah Eschbach. Peter Kennedy Blackwell. Garrett Kovac. Alec Lamson. Ivan Armando Medina. Carter Monroe Ryder. Cameron Michael Carnes. Esther Christina Sitoros. Catherine Renee Distel. Dawn Meade Lenso. Zhangyu Sun. And now I'll recognize students who have completed their degree in biology with a major in biological science. Addie Tooley. Joanna Marion Felix Rivera. Gavin John Hannell. Cheyenne Lynn Tully. Marlo Elizabeth Torres. Jake Martin Keenan. Alyssa Janae Searcy. Gabriela Kovalenko. Blake McConnell Bruneman. Melody Marina Weber. Lauren Eileen Thomas. Amber Lynn Taylor. Jonah Kelleher Deneen. Casey John Shaw. Milo Noel Meyer. Lauren Brooke Linderer. Cecilia Carter. Tatiana Joy Wolf. Emma Kayla Purell. Hendrik Peters. Kenna Jean Meyer. Karen Young.
John, hold on.
Kaylee Ann Smith. Morgan Winters. Daniela Grace Leopardi. Macy Ann Riedemann. Sophia Marie Zucchino. Alexis Jewel Souls. Lydia Bailey McCracken. Madeline Olmskog. Alexandria Sierra Adams. Riley Blaine Hoffman. Joseph McKinney. Rachel Murray. Gunther Ritter Heinz. Kendra Danger Vita. Eason Russell Strother. Seth Antonio Lopez. Camden Reynolds. Elizabeth Choquette. Diana Mantilla. Connor Siebenailer. Emma Lucille Bukowski. Megan Mie Oku. Anna Ibarra Miraz. Olivia Carter. Drew Bala. Seth Colton Harris.
Yes, sir!
Joseph Matthew Paddock. Benji Lee Barnes. Laurel Ann Nance. Annie Price. Malin Fangfang Rao Geist. Ian Andrew Chubb. Max McNary. Hannah Howard. Nadia Lenishin. Caitlin Jane Kloss. Olivia Nicole Cook. Wisin Jafar Ahmadani. Catherine Lorraine Duff. Elvina Zada. Sophia Alexandra Zapola. Connor Thomas McMahon. Blake Zeleny. Isaac Harrison Strider. Angelica Denise Perez. Christina Elise Fredericks. Elizabeth Munoz. Gretchen Elise DeLapp. Emily Ann Gayona. Michaela Raquel Peralta. Katarina Elizabeth Severa Lee. Victoria Perry. Miley Elizabeth Wood. Olivia Catherine Munoz. Marina Hope Davidson. Grace Fuller. Rain Liu. Addison Ray Jones. Mercedes Ambrose. Hunter Thomas Briscoe. Heiwan Liu. Jessica Lynn Grubb. Curran Lee. John Wesley Murray III. Jessica Govan. Kate Ann Nielsen. Kylene Elaine Lemp. Rachel Lauren Parsons. Abigail Kathleen Zetkowski. Bridget Valadez. Soleil Anayas Cully. Lillian Surwa Afrifa. Quinsker Frimpong. Nicole Danielle Holland DeVore. Zoe Teresa Zingerman. Clara Louise Smith. Aubrey Ann Lane. Trinity Marie Tompkins. Andy Margaret Schmitz. Kelly Marine Greenhut. Abby Rose Cowley. Joshua Alec Leachman. Caitlin Comerford. Allison Ann Mesos. Cecilia Van Treese. Jacob Ross Daniels. Gabriella Elizabeth Bondi. Caitlin Beaker. Alyssa McSain Gedeker. Tori Nicole Conroy. Piper Frances Grace Collins. Paige Konomi Sakakita. Luisa Elizabeth Del Nevo. Megan Marie Iverson. Emily Ann Pedersen. Kayla Elise McBride. Annika Lola Shawless. Priya Patel Cracker. Erin Christine Miller. Sarah Marie Stamps. Brendan Jacob Bauer. Sky Lee Griffiths. Elora Rose Bracey. Rebecca Ann Rizak. McKenna Lee Stoll. Brandon Scott Castle. Jacob William Presh. Jackson Mullane. Holden Corrington. Anthony Sable. Francesca Chaniglio. Mackenzie Lee Siskind. Mario Paul Fascinelli. Sarah Elizabeth Cover. Haley Megan Schultz. Isabella Laura Jones. Madison Lemley. Elizabeth Rose Smith. Delaney Ann Nyberger. Jesse Stahl. Jason John Levoy. Celeste Aragon Norsworthy. We'll now recognize graduates with a major in chemistry. Kate Kirk Fiesler. Nathan Brandon Jin. Allison Dolans. Ray Ann Bellows. Bianca Hodge Pardo. Stephanie Michelle Cardinale Lemus. Sydney Paige Kelly. Michaela Mason Jones. Elena Faith Miller. John Benton Rossler. Bolly Summers. Devin Limecool. Logan Antrobus. V. Tung Tran. Russell Herman Roloff. Aiden Vinton Pullen. Beth Trent Ringler. Olivia Hill. Dara Michelle Gaffney. Melina Ann Kingsley. Alexander David Claiborne. Jack Raymond Christensen. Thomas Schilling. Frederick Mitchell Anderson. Angelina Marie Olson. Trudy Shaw. We'll now recognize graduates with the degree of Bachelor of Science in Applied Computing Technology. Justin Moorfield. Seth Jean Schwanke. Bryce Walker. Jacob Coleman Pfeiffer. We'll now recognize graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. Ian Munro. Michael Espy. Giannis Xavier Bauer. Sarah Waltz. Henry Charles Ives. Chad Minning. Cassidy Miara Barrow. Matt Young. Bo Steinley.
Kind of like that one. It's reversed.
Jimit Malavat. Jack Hermanson. Nicholas Schneider. Jake Mismus. Shlok Gondalia. Evan Williams. Joshua Scott Rogers. Joseph Anthony Riva. Preston Bay Dunton. Brendan Patrick Nolan. Ryan Baker McCormick. Christian Samuel Bosch. Jason Patrick Lamfers. Jose Daniel Garcia Carrillo. Jacob Petterly. Moses Najib Labuam. Vivek Mupala. Lucas Sanovitis. Nathan Bell. Charles Myers. Carl Samuel Bonifay. Andy Donis Paz. Hui Win. Ryan Yost. Matthew Vincent Lopez. Indiana Hosier. Jonathan Tyler Poff. Devin Ming Wu. Caleb Ronald Joshi. Benjamin Robert Combs. Damian Storkman. Griffin Gunnar Zavadin. Robert Alexander Bombush. Ian McQueen Taylor. Miles O'Mara. Jacob Barth. Michael Ryan Bowers. Zachary Walsh. April Kelly. Kylie Krosky. Arissa Flores. Lindsay Marie Poshik. Brody Walter Ott. Maria Natalia Sampson. Lu Han. Yushuin Huang. Anup Khadka. Madeline Chloe Watts. Caspian Lawrence Siebert. Ethan Jonah Holen. Farhan Hazik. Bogdan Alexandrovich Voloshenko. Emmanuel Amenu Bobola. Jesse Tyler Jason. Cole Brock. Walton McDonald. Alec Watkins. Logan Justin Krusha. Kyle Cummings. Michael Payton. Cameron Hughes Connell. Michael David Kerr. Jacob Christian Jepson. Malachi Cameron Swanger. Margaret Funston. Kyla Mackenzie Wagenspach. Ileana Julissa Castillon Prado. Eileen Ann Rice. Megan Jane Booher. Kira Nicole Jost. AJ Arroyo. Jean-Marc Ruffalo-Bergat. Wyatt Anthony Poulos. Edge Hurst Nicholson. Trevor Allen Gifford. Spencer Vaughn Howlett. Lexi Shea. Emmett Town Pritchard. Michael Boone. Alberto Valles. Joseph Maxwell Scuff. Morgan Elijah Richard Davis. Hayden James Dockel. Thee Wynn. Michael Robert Schoenbaum. Tony Din Font. Adam Michael Hansen. Evan Fitzpatrick. Cordell Carmen. Tanner May. Leah E. Krieger. Kobe Ryan Fabus. Alec Moran. Paul Theodore Mavrakis. Hervé Nahara. Edwin Flores Dominguez. Braden Smith. We'll now recognize graduates of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Data Science. Adam Carl Keel. Ethan William Krager. Zachary Austin Brazil. Richard Bryson Charles. Emmeline Catherine Hamilton. Kilburn Christopher Cherry. Enrique Rio. Jonathan Joseph Olivaria. Trevor Thompson Isaacson. Evan Joseph Kessler. Nicholas Carl Picaro.
However you rotate it, it's still math.
We'll now recognize graduates of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. James Rudd. Sydney K. Fixmer. Jillian Nicole Eddy. Heidi Jean Gilbert. Andre Carl Leota. William Anthony Clay. Gabriel Nathan Mayberger. Azana Ganana Taib. Heidi DeBerg. Michelle Vernice Kazmarek. Elijah DeHace. Sean David Arnold. Samuel Klein Flynn. Ryan Hedin. Danielle Parra Ariola. Dania Elliott. Christian Arthur Griffin Archer Watkins. John Christian Merrill. Kara Ashley Kovac. Evan Pierce. Nina Helen Hartley. Alyssa Nicole Martinez. Alexander Justin Soltzman. We'll now recognize graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Natural Sciences. Brenna Taylor Cito. Haley Wartell. Kelsey Snow. Graham Stern Schroeder. Eric Schulte. We'll now recognize with graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Physics. Benjamin Byers. Will Mingus. William David Mingus. Ethan Joe Seafried. Ethan John Seafried.
They get the extra hands.
Ryan Ressler. Robert Dunkelman. William Patrick Sheridan. Kevin, Ian, Alec, Liam, Tristan, Plocker. Tanner Stevenson. Tyler Dodd. Cyrus Travis Turner.
Finally let him out of the lab.
Naveen Singh Pradhan.
Release them into the wild.
Connor Dean Taylor. Zibo Tang. Liam Cook. We'll now recognize graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. Emily Ann Drysdale Fairbairn. Mary Hart. Brianna Cronin. Matea Rose Ramey. Morgan Ann Ruth. Melissa Marie Fleming. Sarah Elizabeth Flores. Zachary John Niestead. Colette Norgard. Madeline Taylor Chart. Mary Catherine Stoneberg. Sierra Dawn Pritchard. Reese Edward Micah. Sarah Kent. Rita Gabriella Livitz. Rose Elizabeth Whipke. Emily Jolene Roseland. Lena Yee. Sienna Grace Burrows. Emily Rose Potter. Leora Yaffa Green. Tyler Ann Adams. Megan Elizabeth Brown. Alexis Sierra Murillo. Elizabeth Alma Sheeving. Daniel Isaac Francis. Samantha Grimes. Natalie Taylor Young. October Henke. Beck Harrison Phillips. Rasa Anara Huyam Tua. Gabriel Kristen Taylor. Haley Belia. Delaney Claire Kearns. Aniela Aguilar Guillen. Tegan Maloney. I can, okay. Victor Shane Shotgun Merriweather. Kat Keeling. Isabella Jean Heichman. Cole Thomas Scott White. Allison Lucille Ellenberger. Brittany Lee Roth. Taylor Bittner. Carlin Helene Granger. Grace Grady. Abigail Mia Terneski. Kendra Marie Shankweiler. Lindsay McLean Walker. Ellie Blades. Nicole Lister. Taylor Sharon Wilson. Jacob Ronyer Young. Sydney Lynn Sullivan. Gabriella Nicole Weiss. Noelle Villa Beza. Dorian James Levier. Jacob Keith Selby. Olivia Ann McKenzie. Catherine Myers Undercliff. Anna Catherine Hundertmark. Eunice Italy Terrazas. Retta Caitlin Smith. Jake Warren Keller. Leah Elizabeth Folk. Maeli Mingard. Megan Caroline Stark. Mackenzie Kathleen Price. Bailey Nicole Stoltler. Rachel Ann Ecker. Jared Namaya Mora. Mallory Mae Dotson. Christy Ruth McDaniel. Allison Taylor Massey. Ariella Malul. Laura Jasper Valerie Carr. Shannon Kittleson. Carly Ward. Riley K. Thomas. Michelle Rivera Garfield. Sonia Pacheco Neri. Brooke Jordan Stanek. Camille Chastain. Zoe Connor. Ryan Thomas Mahoney. Emily Christ. Samantha Bria Levano. Ashley Correa Romero. Grace Sheila Donahue. Flavia Michelle Trejo Cabrera. Rozan Orabi. Alexandra Samperi. Jessica Miller. Ara Andriana Zulakis. Patrick Joseph Duffner. Montana Lee Spring. Justin Thompson. Kaylee Hendricks. Samantha Leslie Umland. Jessica Olivia Means. Brandon Lane Seago. Haley K. Weber. Ethan James Tenbarge. Dylan Furr. Faith Sarai Correa. Haley Gonzalez. Jackson Piercy. Madeline Marie Hopkins. Victoria Page Smith. Marie Elizabeth Cook. Sydney Marie Claire Swisher. Catherine May Moss. Catherine Lee McCormick. Jenna Grace Steller. Akila Danielle Martin. Laura Jean Kelly. Reagan Jesse Guerrero. Sophie Corin Camp. Kennedy Aaron Monk. Haley Elizabeth Foster. Sarah Elizabeth Sullivan. Macy Lynn Wells. Jessie Marie Adams. Alexandra Constance Blasi. Bryson Burlingame. Gabriella Clements. Michaela Narvaez. Maniola Simeonson de Olivier. Yaron Mutlu. Olga Janos Kamachko. Lauren Ann Levine. Aroma Cole. Alexis Beasley. Belle Hausman. Haley Sandoval. Yutsiri Reyes Dominguez. Paige Michelle Elliott. Delaney Ireland Adams. Devin Wade Chance. Ayala Buzzard Hunt. Benjamin Cheney. Kaylee Marie Batista. Charlotte Seal Durkee. Julia Rose Cassidy. Kendam William Wood. Peyton Jean Craig. Jonathan Crocker. Crystal Alicia Pena. Jose Rodolfo Villesca. Sydney Lee Louise Johnston. Madeline K. Harper. Allison Logan. Tyra Smith. Cole Scott. Tyner Mahoney. Ashley Bergen. Taylor Brenda Sullivan. Maurice Babbitt. Rachel Nicole Gray. Abigail Marie Arvold. Brendan Christensen. Hayden James Carson. Hunter Ryan Slater. Bryn Solsay. Ricky Renee Dorfler. Ryan Arnold. Christiane Hampton Davis. Genevieve Louise Ray. Sky Laurel Parisi. Mariah Rachel Bradford. Brianna Marie Melendez. Tara Leanne Kruger. Hayden Jean Smith. Isabel Canning. Brittany Lynn Bates. Haoji Sun. We'll now recognize graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree in Statistics. Macy Olivia Dodd. Samuel Conrad Stephen Downs. Jasmine Sarah Demeyer. Megan Flynn Donahue. Jackson Patrick Allen. Alexandria Hopkins. Arthur Palin. Tyler Vaughn Hempstead. We'll now recognize graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree in Zoology. Grant Wayne Mosel.
Zoology.
Kayla Cabanting. Anna Grace Denspear. JC Elizabeth Murphy. Ana Isabel Bautista. Thomas Monroe Joy. Avery Nicole Schneider. Natalie Celeste Liberato. Corin Michelle Zilstra. Catherine Ann Kerwin. Amanda K. Seeps. Snyder Morris. Julia Rose Murphy. Sarah Elizabeth Eftang. Caitlin Bridge. Megan Rue. Emily Lauren Wolin. Ashi Javan. Pedro Jose Reyes. Brandon Bailey. Lauren Amanda Scott. Allison Christine Marie Dyke. Kristen Marie Kinder. Lauren Schuyler. Ashley Yamilet Marcial Rodriguez. Peyton Alyssa Sutherland. Jackson Francis Chaika. Majesty Vale Borden. Colton Christopher Ingalls. William Joseph Stoneman. Samuel Timothy Strong. Bailey Carlisle. Abigail Adams. Abigail Margaret Ross. Claire Elizabeth Angela. Olivia Heifetz. Molly Rosales. Renata Fong Fukuhara Folk. Tatiana Ashley Guerrero. Madison Taylor Rochelle Maka. Kylie Helen Mings. Katrana Mountain. Leslie Ramos. Amindra Alejandra Estrada Olivis. David Franco Reyes. Kaya Gibson. Jingmei Lu Fillmore. Cora Carolyn Sopkin. Ezra Pollack. Sarah Elizabeth Shazitz. Aubrey Madugal. Ashley Nicole Porky. Victoria Hurteau. Peiru Liao. Yitong Liu. Mahui Tu. Elise Bartucci. Susan Grace Burlingame Wilson. Chanel Alicia Arculeta. Nathaniel Lance Slade. Nicholas William Antilla. Hannah Rose Knox. Caitlin Jackson. Madison Rose Clark. Kelly Paige Giazza. Corbin Scott Gillespie. Cheryl Michaela Cook. Michaela Elizabeth Dunbar. Dallas Kathleen Loki. Anna Clara Gerbel. Aubrey Lynn Arlan. Joshine Ni.
Good afternoon, graduates. My name is Lisa Disleski, and I serve as the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs in the college. I am also a graduate of Colorado State University. I'm sure that you are excited and proud to have reached this point, and we are all excited and proud for you. I know that some of you might be feeling a little sentimental, or maybe a little bit nervous about taking that next big step, moving away from what may have been some of the greatest times in your life so far, time spent at Colorado State University. But it is now that you begin writing your next chapter, tackling your next big adventure, and living your purpose. Each one of you came to CSU from a different place, and each one of you has a different future ahead. But no matter what happens, you all have one very important thing in common with each other, and with more than 250,000 others out there who have come before you. You are all alumni of Colorado State University. And it is important to acknowledge that you all do share one experience, earning your degree through a global pandemic. Remember that our most difficult challenges are the ones that expand our potential and unite those who overcame these obstacles together. Be proud of your resilience and carry it with you always. So while you may be leaving this campus, be assured that your university will not leave you. No matter where your personal and professional journey takes you, know that your department and college, your professors and advisors, and the CSU Alumni Association will continue to be there for you every step of the way. I am so happy to be the first to welcome you to the alumni family. Congratulations on a job well done, and go Rams.
So when we just had a wonderful congratulations to all of you. You are our largest class ever, by the way. But you know, this day that our afternoon we've spent together isn't just about us, because there are people here who we have not recognized yet, and that is all the family and friends and spouses and neighbors. Would you please rise? Please rise. There you go. Thank you for all you have done for the students here. Another person that I'd like to recognize this afternoon is Dr. Don Michaels. Don, would you please rise just for a second? Or he might not. But Don is the director of the honors program, so all of you in green gowns know him quite well. And after 10 years of being the director of the program, he's going back to the faculty. So I just wanted you all to have an opportunity to say thank you one more time to Don. And finally, just a few remarks. Graduates, you heard two messages this afternoon that I feel are worth repeating. Dr. Mueller said, take time to listen to the music of life. And President Mcconnell said, prepare for the next stage in your journey. It's your time to lead. And I really resonated with these two messages, and it's important to pay attention in life. Recognize that the world speaks to you, sometimes kind of quietly, so you have to pay attention. And an example of this is whenever I give remarks, I kind of listen to the world and what gives me my theme to talk about. And this time, it was I'm going to call it an appetizer napkin, but it actually was a cocktail napkin. And it said, sometimes your journey will take you off your path. It's all part of the same trip. So I thought about that. And I thought, you know, during your time here at CSU, I'm sure there were times that you felt like you were thrown off your path. Whether you were getting into and maybe passing that course you just really had to have, achieving the grades that you hoped for, dealing with your freshman roommate, think back a bit, participating in undergraduate research, changing your major, finding a parking space, building long-term relationships, navigating with COVID. It may have felt at times to be a roller coaster ride, lots of ups and downs. But personally, I don't think of the analogy of life as a roller coaster is apt in this case. You know, sure, there's up and downs and turns, but when you're riding in a roller coaster, you're strapped in, you're moving along a predetermined path, and you're ending up exactly where you started. For all you graduates here, that's certainly not descriptive of your experiences. You're not in the same place mentally or emotionally that you were when you started your studies at CSU. Instead of a roller coaster ride, I think a better metaphor of life is the inevitable ups and downs is a road trip. You each experience your own unique road trip, filled with high-speed freeways, detours, side trips, speed bumps. If you're anything like me, you get a few speeding tickets along the way. But unlike a roller coaster, on a road trip, there's no predetermined path. There's no roadmap. You make the decisions about where you're going to go. And at the end of each day, you end up someplace different. Completely new place than you had started, a place you never maybe even have thought you'd be. It's your journey, and you may go off your path. As we move forward from one day to the next, we are met with challenges of one sort or another. Some are quite pleasant and exciting, and others are difficult and more of a struggle. All of these challenges are simply part of the road trip. It's how we handle them or in other words, how we choose to traverse our path that makes the journey different. Your CSU education will help you meet those challenges and define and guide you on your journey to success. Take a moment to reflect on where you are today and in what direction you're heading. Maybe it's graduate or professional school, maybe it's a job, travel, a gap year, maybe you have no idea. It's all okay, because it's your road trip. My point is that we are all on life journey, and we don't know where it will lead us. It's therefore important to always be open to the opportunities and the challenges that come your way. Even if you think you've already have your direction set and you know what's next, be open-minded, stay alert. And as Dr. Mueller told us, listen to the noise. And as you continue your road trip beyond CSU, enjoy each day. Be kind to yourself and to others. And my last piece of advice, don't carry too much baggage. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dean Nerger. There are a number of people we need to thank for making today's ceremony possible. First, I would like to thank the college staff, our student employees, and our tireless announcer, Dr. Jacob Roberts. I also want to thank our faculty marshals, Dr. Carlos Olivio Delgado from the Department of Chemistry, Dr. Steve Benoit from the Department of Mathematics, Dr. Martin Gelfand from the Department of Physics, and Dr. Ed Deloche from the Department of Psychology. Thanks also to our soloist, Lucy Logan, as well as the talented ensemble for the music that has added so much to this ceremony, and a special thanks to our interpreters, Kenna Bridges and Bridget Flood, who translated our ceremony into sign language. And once again, thank you to our platform party and faculty for being here to help celebrate our students. Please look to the screens around the arena for the lyrics. Stand or raise your hand and join us while we sing the Colorado State Alma Mater. Lucy Logan will lead the singing, accompanied by an ensemble from the CSU's Department of Music.
Hail to thee, our alma mater, Colorado State. Memories are everlasting of this place so great. May the green and gold unite us, loyal ever be. Colorado State, our alma mater, hail, all hail to thee.
Thank you. I would like to ask the members of the audience to please, or to be seated and remain seated until the platform party, faculty, and students have left the auditorium. Photographers will be circulating outside the auditorium to capture additional photographs of our graduates and their families and friends. The Grad Images staff will be wearing red vests, so they'll be highly visible and easy to locate. Find a photographer with a red vest and take some friends and family shots. Congratulations, class of 2022, and enjoy the rest of this special weekend with your family and friends.